questions, so some questions will be answered separately offline. So without further ado, no, please.
Thank you very much, Judith. Good morning to you in the United States, and good afternoon to those folks that are here in Israel. My name is Yoel Kapurnik, and I'm director of BARD. And as Judith said in the beginning, that I'm going. My job is to give you a short introduction to BARD Foundation, and then we'll proceed to a more technical way. How really you can apply to our foundation. Now, BARD was established more than 40 years ago. It was established by the two governments. I'm going to expand on it later on, and it was set to support collaborative agricultural research in areas of mutual interest to the U.S. and Israel. And what we do, we support several programs. We have several funding programs, and in our today's session, we are going to concentrate on research grants, which we have on our portfolio. What makes us unique is the fact that the work that we support, first of all, it's being done jointly by Israeli and American scientists. And most of the topics should be applicable to agriculture. Some solutions or know-how that will help agriculture in both countries. Of course, we have other programs in the future, and I'm not going to shed more light to this, but we just initiate the food and nutrition program. And in the future, of course, we are planning to expand our climate smart agriculture, but that's for the future. So as I mentioned before, our stakeholders in the US is the USDA, the Ministry of Agriculture in the United States, and in Israel is the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development in Israel, together with the Ministry of Finance. Both of them, these are the stakeholders from both countries. Our budget derived from an endowment which was set very close to the establishment of the foundation, and which is in the sum of $110 million. And we live out of the interest which comes from this endowment, plus additional budget that we received every year from both governments. On our board, we have 3 Israelis and 3 Americans. On the US side, we have Simon Liu, administrator in ARS within the USDA. We have Richard Linton, who is the president of Kansas State University, and we have Professor Kathleen Burr, who she is the former dean of Ag College in Cornell University. On the Israel side, we have Abed Gera, who was the director of plant protection services here in Israel. And we have Michal Levy, and she is the chief scientist of the Ministry of Agriculture. And we have the representative of the budget division in the Ministry of Finance in Israel, Gilad Katzav, here in Israel. You're probably aware that BARD has a very wide portfolio, different programs. Today, we have the research grant, which we are going to expand today. We have 2 tracks of application. Please bear in mind, it's not one. And we have feasibility study, postdoc fellowship, graduate student fellowship, senior research fellow, and also we support workshops. However, as I mentioned before, we will concentrate today on research project grants that we will elaborate on it later on. Okay. Okay. As far as topics that we accept in our programs, we have a very wide range of topics, and I'm encouraging each one of you to look into the extended list of research priorities. In this figure, just to give you the idea how wide our program is. So we're dealing with plant and defense, as well as engineering, genetic, food quality and safety, almost a lot of topics which are consisting the food chain, cooperation of the food chain, or the agriculture, a very important event. Until actually the customers. And from our past, we can say that what you see here, the numbers on the map represent the number of projects that have been funded by BARD during the first 40 years of existence. So you see that some countries we have more in common with than others. However, we actually covered most of the United States from coast to coast. And until now, or in the first, until now, we more than 5,000 projects have been submitted already, and we were able to support very close to 1,400 proposals. Our approval rate is close to 25%, and we are very proud of it. The money is it's being divided almost half and half between the partners, and we really appreciate it. And that's the way that we operate it. Now, another couple of metrics, a couple of points. So we were able to invest more than, until today, more than $340 million. And the most significant outcome or results of our activity is that our benefit cost ratio is 1 to 16. Every dollar that was spent in a BARD program was actually directed, or we were able to show $16 benefits in both economies of Israel and United States, which is an outstanding result. More of impact, well, we know that about 80% of the scientific partners, they are keeping in touch beyond the duration of the grant. They are collaborating at least between 6 to 7 years afterwards. Another thing, we have thousands of publications have been published from the work that we supported, and most of the publications are at the upper portion of the high-quality journals in the field. And again, I'm encouraging you, if you really want to learn more about BARD and the results and the outcome of our activity, please go to our site. You will be probably surprised to see so many commercial engagement, new jobs that have been developed for the work, patent, breeding rights, new variety, and even contribution to the environment. Now, we do all these activities through 9, this is subject or topic panels, that topic matters, that all the evaluation is being carried by professional panels. And these are the panels: animal production, animal health, aquaculture, crop production, crop health, and as you can see, even ag economy. We really appreciate, we think it's very important. So each one of those panels are very important. So the proposals that you are going to write, you are going to submit, are going to be evaluated by professional panels in both countries. Just to give you a better idea how we are working. So the proposal which you are submitting is going through peer review evaluation. We are expecting to have around between 5 to 7 thorough evaluations on each one of the panels of the projects. And what we do, we share these reviews with our panel members. One thing which is very unique for BARD is that each of these panels is operating in its own country. So if, let's say if we have animal production, we have an Israeli panel and we have also the American panel. And this evaluation allow us to put the priorities of each country, the needs in each country, and only then to try to combine them both in both countries. Each panel actually submitting a priority list from the best proposal to the less good proposal. And these two lists, Israeli list and the American list, will be submitted to the TAC, the Technical Advisory Committee, consisted out of 5 senior scientists from each country. And they are combining the list and they are constructing the interdisciplinary portfolio, which is later on submitted to our board of directors and recommended for funding. So it's a long and tedious process, but as I mentioned it already, it's being done very thoroughly, and it's being done separate in each country. In a way, as a scientist, I can tell you, so we have 2 replicates, independent, being carried in each country, and this is which give us the high quality evaluation which BARD is known for. The new thing for this year is that we have 2 tracks for BARD research application. One of them is the regular BARD, as we call it, and the new one is the Pioneer track. And the major difference is that in the Pioneer track, the budget can be up to $600,000 a grant. The other different metric here, or the matter here, is that this year we are going to support through the Pioneer track only proposal in crop production, crop health, and aquaculture. And the rest of the information, Chaim is going to expand on it later on, and he will mention more. This is kind of a summary. Most of the requirements are almost the same. The only thing is, of course, the grant level, which I just mentioned, and the panels. As you can see, on the Pioneer, we have more kind of a short list this year. We hope that in the future it will be expanded. And of course, the aim of the 2 projects are very different. We're really expecting to see a more comprehensive, groundbreaking, and innovative research that will be submitted to the Pioneer track. But the rest of the information, of course, it's on our website, and you're going to hear some more information from Chaim later on. Something that I'm not going to expand or to say much about it is that we have more programs here in BARD. The deadline is in January, so we have a lot of time, and I don't want to take much of our time on this webinar, but please bear in mind that we have also graduate student fellowship, postdoc, senior research, and workshop. And recently, we started also to support academia to industry program. We have 2 of them with collaboration with Israel Innovation Authority. So we have the B-Liver, and we have a collaboration with the NIFA in the US and the Israel Innovation Authority here for food and nutrition. But again, the deadline is not now. This is just for your general information, that you know that we have more than the research project that we are going to talk about today. With that, I ended my introductory, and I'm going to handle or to give the stage to Chaim, who is going to take it from here.
Thank you very much, Yoram, and good morning and good evening to those who are signed in. I'm going to get into a little bit more detail into the nitty-gritty about the proposal itself. Both the Pioneer Tract and the Standard Tract are given similar evaluations, and these are the 4 criteria that for which they're evaluated. Of course, one of the most important is the scientific or technological merit of the proposal and the feasibility of the objectives, the anticipated benefit to agriculture or to agriculture's impact on the environment, both reducing the negative and increasing the positive impacts that agriculture has on the environment. And the last one is one of the most important ones for BARD, as we are a U.S.-Israel foundation. And and our main reasons for existence is to promote collaboration. So we take very seriously the importance of the collaboration between the two laboratories, the United States and Israel. We prefer to have a synergistic collaboration where the research can only be done if both partners work together and couldn't be done by either one separately. All right, who can apply? We provide funding only for the nonprofit sector, be that academia or government or private nonprofit foundations. If we look at a proposal, BARD has specific definitions for the investigators who are participating in the proposal. The first investigator is the PI. The second investigator has to be from the other country, where if the PI is an American, and the second investigator has to be Israeli, and vice versa. He or she is the co-PI, and and we relate to the PI and co-PI with the same status on the proposal. Everybody else on the proposal is a collaborating scientist. Now, as a PI or co-PI, you can only we forbid concurrent funding. In other words, you can only have one BARD at any given time as a PI or co-PI. However, we do allow you to, you can apply for more than one proposal, but only one will be funded. And if you apply with different partners, we will inform the partners that you are applying with another for another proposal, and that only one of them can be funded. However, as a collaborating investigator, there's no limit to the number of proposals that you can apply for. The BARD grant is for 3 years maximum. We'll talk about 1-year feasibility shortly. And as Yor mentioned, we now have 2 tracks, one for the standard $310,000, and the second one is for the $600,000. We only allow 1 revision, in other words, in another year. For the next year, and the submission deadline this year is September 14th, 2022. The proposal is submitted online. I'll be putting up some videos which go into detail how to fill out the online forms and how to register for the proposal in BARD. I think there might still be some up from last year. It hasn't changed a lot from last year, but if you haven't submitted if it's been over a year since you submitted, the procedure is somewhat different, so I strongly recommend that you look into those videos. So it consists of a cover page, which is generated from the forms that you fill out on the website, the abstract. The body of the proposal is limited to 15 pages, plus another 5 pages that would include the expected results, the timetable, the details of the cooperation facilities, and your data management program. Of course, a relevant biography. The CVs of all the investigators who are submitting the proposal, which is limited to 2 pages per investigator. We ask you to just list the relevant and recent publications that pertain to the grant. There's a budget summary, which is also generated from the forms that you fill out in the system. You have 1 page of description of the budget. And in terms of letters, we do allow letters of cooperation if they actually do mention specific cooperation. If it's just someone that says this proposal is great and I support it, we do not allow those letters. But if someone says, if someone is giving you some genetic material which is not available by the investigators on the proposal, then that's a type of letter which we do permit. In addition to new proposals, we have what's called continued proposals. That's someone that was already funded by BARD, and they want to either continue the research in a linear direction, or it can be in a perpendicular direction, a new direction that emanated from results of the previous research. And also, of course, if somebody submitted a proposal, they're allowed to revise it and submit it the following year. For continued proposals, we do allow another 2 pages to describe the results of the previous project that was funded, and to list all the publications that were that emanated from that project. Revised proposals, we allow also 2 pages to discuss how the proposal was revised and what improvements you made in the proposal based on the recommendations of the reviewers. We strongly recommend not to go through the reviewers' comments point by point and list them in the 2 pages. We think it's better to take a more general approach and say that the reviewer in general list what the reviewers' suggestions and how you address them or didn't address them in the revised proposal. In addition, we strongly encourage feasibility studies. This will be a 1-year study. The main reason for this is that there are those that say the best way to get a grant proposal funded is to do 80% of the work, as it reduces the risk. So we do suggest 1-year feasibilities if you have a particularly innovative idea, but it's extremely high risk, but also high reward, and you need some kind of proof of concept, then this would be the way to go. But again, a feasibility study is for 1 year, so you really need to focus on an objective that will give you a proof of concept, so that later on you can go and submit a full proposal for that idea. Okay, we'll go a little bit into the best practices. The better organized the proposal is, the better usually the better response one gets from reviewers in the committee. So you want a well-defined research problem. You want very feasible objectives, clear objectives, and also clear hypotheses that can be proven one way or the other. And we don't want to reduce the importance of the preliminary results. Or the better the preliminary results that will support your ideas and hypotheses, the better chance it has of being accepted. You should try to make sure that your procedures and methodologies are clear. Obviously, with the page limit, you won't be able to describe everything in detail, but you should at least reference the methods and procedures that you're going to use so that it's clear to the panel and reviewers exactly what how you're going to attack your hypotheses and objectives. Also, it's important to relate to pitfalls. Many proposals fall because they don't relate to pitfalls, and if they have 5 stages, and if stage 2 gets stuck, they won't be able to continue. Then that's a problem. So you should have this, maybe not quite the detail of the primary pathway, but at least say what your what means you have if you do run into negative results and need to change directions a little bit. And then, as we said, you have some extra pages to give the expected results. We want to know what benefit there is from the research if it is successful, and how this will benefit or help solve some agricultural problem. And of course, they anticipated the benefit that will result from this. Some of the most common criticisms on the left side are probably the most common criticisms. Proposals are often called too ambitious. It's particularly for the standard track, $310,000 for 3 years for 2 labs. At least the minimum of 2 labs is not a lot of money. So you need to have clear and focused objectives and feasible objectives. I think sometimes little is better than a lot. You want to, and of course, you want to have as much preliminary data. If you make certain statements in your hypotheses, you need to be able to back it up. Another very common problem, which you may think is minor, but it irritates reviewers to no end, is a sloppily written proposal with grammatical mistakes and typos and misreferences. So you should spend a little extra effort to make sure that the proposal is sharp, and the clear and the better, the more clear that the proposal is, usually the better the reviews are. BARD also, we do a matchmaking service. So if you're an American scientist and you would like to find an Israeli scientist to write a proposal with, or vice versa, we'll be happy to do our best to find a partner. We're not, we're probably about 70 or 80% successful. Sometimes we find partners that don't end up in a BARD proposal, but they sometimes end up with BSF or NSF or some other proposals, but we're happy to provide the service. So if that's the case, you can send me, you see my email below, your brief CV or link to your website, an abstract of the research idea that you would like to put first, and sort of a description of your ideal partner and types of expertise that you would like your partner to have in order to develop preferably a synergistic proposal. So I think I have completed and we have completed the webinar. So we're willing to, I don't know if there's any questions in the chat,
I don't
but
see anything. Can you
can
hear
write
my
a few
wheels?
here.
We have a question here. Okay, so as far as eligibility, who can apply? We have a question if Palestinian NGOs can apply and they cannot apply. We have a question about workshops. If you can explain a little more about what kind of workshops are funded.
Okay. Workshop. Well, first of all, if you look into our website, you'll see that we have a priority areas for the workshop as well. The idea behind the workshop is that this is not international meeting that hundreds of people can gather together. We are talking about dozens of Israeli and American if they really want to discuss a topic which they want to bring even an expert which is not American and not Israeli, it's allowed. We really expect them to discuss a cutting edge topic. The results of such a workshop would be a white paper, can be a joint application for research grant, and many other things. We really want to see to help the scientists to meet each other and even to discuss before they start their work. And this helps a lot, especially with the new topics that we have every time. It's very nice to sit together to discuss. One of the topics that we really want to push through is how really we can collaborate on AI topics, AI for agriculture. And for that, you have to apply for a grant to conduct a workshop.
Okay, we have a question. Can any of the funds be used to fund a private company, private sector company, if they're suitable or if they're?
We do allow funds to go to subcontractors, so you can't subcontract some of the work to the private country. However, if the proposal is such that 60% of the funds or more go to the private company, then that probably will not be funded. But but a private company can participate in the research, and certainly they can add funds to the research. That is acceptable for this research program.
Okay, so I don't see any more questions. I just want to say that if you see the email here, news@BARD, we can take any other questions you have offline. And the site is open for applications starting August 15th. So any early birds who want to apply for September 14th can start applying earlier. And we're waiting for your proposals. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.